Brown Boxing, and I'm back in the building. Shout out to the LDBC. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. All right, man. So I read an article came out this past Sunday, and the article stated that Julian J-Rock Williams, former Unified 154-pound champion, the man that dethroned my guy, Jarrett Swift Hurd, has confirmed that he will not be exercising his rematch clause against Jeison Rosario. We all know the story. Jeison Rosario stopped him in the fifth round of J-Rock's homecoming fight, losing the title, very reminiscent of what happened to Jarrett Hurd last year when Julian J-Rock Williams won his first world title, Unified Championships, against Jarrett Hurd in that fight. Now, the reason for this decision is J-Rock wants to recover from a recent surgery that he's had. So now we're in the situation of what is next for Jeison Rosario. If you don't know Nino Brown Boxing, my favorite weight class is 154. It's simple. These guys, they fight each other. To me, 154 is very reminiscent of what real boxing is. So I take pride in 154 being my favorite weight class. So with that being said, what's next for Jeison Rosario? Obviously, and like the article mentioned, the knee-jerk reaction to this news about Julian J-Rock Williams, it would be for an immediate unification. Do I want the fight? Absolutely. I'm all for unification bouts. I'm all for 154 building its prestige and showing the world that this is the division where champions fight champions on a continuous basis. 154 will be the type of weight class where unifications take place on a consistent basis. I love it. Now, obviously, we've heard different reports when it comes from Jeison Rosario and his team. 1 minute they would say Rosario wanted to tune up, or he was going to get a rematch with he was obligated to have his rematch with Julian J-Rock Williams. Well, since that's not the case now, I wonder what route Jeison Rosario is going to go. Obviously, he can go the route of unifying with Jermell Charlo, or he can decide to go the route that he wants to face a mandatory. Now, with Jeison Rosario having the IBF and the WBA titles, to my understanding, unless the WBA switched their rule, the only mandatory that he should have, because he's the WBA super champion, the only mandatory he should have at this point in time is the IBF belt. We all know how the IBF is when it comes to their mandatory defenses, so we don't need to explain that. If you're unfamiliar, just go back and check the whole situation with Terrence Crawford when he tried to become undisputed, or when he became undisputed with Julius Ndongo, and the whole Sergey Lipinets saga was around and all of that shit. Now, Jeison Rosario, we don't know what path he's going to go. I would love to see Jermell Charlo back in the ring. Me personally, I want Jermell Charlo to run it back with Tony Harrison, but Jermell has already put it out on record. It will not be a trilogy with Tony Harrison. He feels that Tony doesn't deserve a rematch. He feels that he got robbed in the first fight, something I completely disagree with, but he clearly won the second fight, stopping Tony Harrison. Now, at this point, is what's next? And if Jermell Charlo cannot get Jeison Rosario in a unification bout, I feel like it is time. It is definitely time for Jermell Charlo to face Erislandy Lara. Now, some people, they want to start talking that, they're friends. Fuck all that shit. I don't want to hear it. When you got a man like Deontay Wilder and he said he would face his own brother, you can't tell me shit about friendships when it comes to this sport of boxing. It's a sport. You eat with your brother. All that shit, all that good shit, it sounds good to me. So I say make the fight happen. But the main reason for me wanting this fight to happen, outside I feel like it will be a very entertaining and competitive fight, is a lot of these guys at 154 are facing each other. And when it comes to Jermell's situation, you could say somebody's avoiding him. You can say they don't want to fight him. But the one guy that Jermell never took advantage of fighting, and it could have been a unification bout back in the past, was Erislandy Lara. Both guys are under the PBC banner. Erislandy Lara is still sticking around. I look at it like this. Give the old guy his one last shot. He's either going to make history and become a champion again, or Jermell Charlo is going to destroy him and get Aristotle Laura the fuck up out of here permanently. All I want to do is see the fight. I'm a fan of boxing. I'm a fan of 154. So let's make the fight happen. So when it comes to Jermell Charlo, I want his next opponent. If it's not a unification with Jeison Rosario, I want it to be Aristotle Laura. Jeison Rosario, I already know how the fucking IBF rolls, and we're going to keep this shit simple. If you're not going to unify with Jermell Charlo, face your IBF mandatory and get that shit over and done with. We don't want to hear about any fucking mandatories coming up in effect late 2020, early 2021, when shit trying to get funky and we trying to have we trying to have you mix it up and become one step closer to undisputed. I'm all for the unification bout, but I already know I'm not confident that Team Rosario, Team Banana will take on Jermell Charlo next, but we'll see how everything plays out. In the meantime, guys, it's Nino Brown Boxing. Shout out to the LDBC, and I'm out.